luncheon table a few days ago, a group of us were discussing today's young people and some of the terrific demands that are made upon them, the temptations they face, the decisions they must make, and how, for one reason or another, many of them are missing life at its best. Then one of the men at the table turned to me with a direct question. What's the church doing about it? And for an answer, I told him a story about some young people in our own church.
Marty, here we are.
Mary, Marty.
Come on out, Marty. We know you hear us.
Can't you give a girl a chance to answer her phone? Anyhow, I left the door open so you could come in.
And here we are. Say, we've got some news for you.
Good. Make yourselves comfortable.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear what you wanted to tell me, you three. Go on, Frank. Tell her about it.
Okay. You remember, Marty, we were talking down at the church about some sort of what we call a Christian witness mission.
Yes?
Well, since then, something's happened. Something really great. All the youth organizations have decided to go together on it and try and visit every young person in the city that's out of the church. Don has the cards of those we're trying to visit.
All of those?
Yep. That's just a drop in the bucket, Marty, what we have there. You should see the whole stack.
Yes, I couldn't believe there were so many young people just in this one town that don't have anything to do with the church.
It's that way everywhere. That's the reason Christian young people all over the country are so stirred up about this thing. We figured this was the least we could do. We four.
We four?
Yes. We thought Don and Janet might visit together, and you and I.
Oh, but Frank, I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't have the least idea.
Well, none of us do, Marty, but we can find out. There's going to be a class down at the church this weekend.
We thought it was sort of terrific, Marty. Something we could really throw ourselves into.
Well, it isn't that I wouldn't love to, Frank. You know that. You know how much the church means to me, and that I'd do anything in the world to... But...
Then it's settled?
No. No, I didn't mean that. I just meant that I can't do this sort of thing. Some people can't, you know. Some people can do some things and some people others. And... Well, anyhow, I'm going out of town this weekend.
What'll we do, Frank?
Gosh, I don't know. Everybody else is teamed up. I guess the three of us will just have to
Say,
go
we
together.
can't visit but half as many that way.
That's right. I sure would hate to have to turn back any of those cards. They're not just cards, you know. They're people. Young people like us. Where are you going over the weekend, Marty?
Oh, just over to Greenville. I haven't seen my brother and Ann since they married. I'm crazy to see them. I'm taking the 6:15 bus. Oh, I just can't do it.
Your attention, please. Bus for Ennis, Corsicana, Spring Valley, Huntsville, Point South, now ready to leave at gate 6.
Is anything wrong? Are you sick or something?
Oh, no, I guess I was just feeling sorry for myself.
My name's Marty Myers. I'd be glad to help you if there's anything I can do.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't suppose there's anything anybody can do now. I've just lost my job and I'm leaving. That's all.
That's too bad, Miss...
Taylor, Wilma Taylor.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Wilma. Where are you going now?
To Eastland?
Oh, is that your home?
No, not exactly home. I used to live there once before with my aunt. I don't know whether she'll have room for me now or not.
Well, couldn't you find another job?
No, I tried, but, well, my boss didn't give me a recommendation.
Why, the old meanie.
Oh, I guess it wasn't so much his fault. I guess I kind of asked for it. But I was pretty lonesome when I came.
Didn't you know anybody here?
Just Jean, my roommate. She had her boyfriend get me a blind date one night. We double-dated a lot after that. Gene and Slick. That's what everybody called him because, well, that's just what everybody called him. And Alec and me. Slick had a convertible. He'd drive it pretty fast, and he drank a good deal, too. Then one night, we had an accident.
Oh, that's too bad.
It wasn't very bad, really. Nobody got hurt much, but Slick was arrested for drunken driving, and we were all taken to jail. Well, then they let Gene and I go after a couple of hours, but it was nearly 4 o'clock, and the next morning...
Yes?
Well, the next morning, my boss, Mr. Bennett, said that... Well, he just fired me. Said it had been bad enough having me come down to the office half asleep after wild parties, but that getting myself locked up for drunkenness was too much.
But, Wilma, didn't you tell him that you didn't...
I tried to, but it was no use. Somehow I knew I shouldn't keep going out like that, but, oh, they were my friends, and the only friends I had.
Wilma, I wish I'd met you before. I wish you could have known the young people down at our church.
To a church? Oh, I thought about going some, but, well, you know how it is when you don't know anybody or anything. It's the same way for Jean, too. But, you know, I don't know what's going to happen to her if things don't change for her somehow,
Breckenridge,
somehow.
Midland, Eastland, and Points West. Have your tickets
Oh,
ready,
that's
please.
my bus.
Oh, quick, Wilma, before you go, what's that address?
Oh, 1702 McKinney.
1702 McKinney. And what's Jean's last name?
Perkins.
Jean Perkins, 1702 McKinney. Oh, and Wilma, where could I write to you?
Oh, just Wilma Taylor, care of General Delivery, Eastland. Oh, thanks for everything. Bye.
Bye, Wilma. And good luck.
Bye.
General Delivery. Poor kid. Doesn't even know whether she'll have a place to stay or not. I wish I could have done something to help her. There's still Jean, though. And I've got to do something about her. I don't know how or what. Frank will know. That's what I'll do. I'll call Frank and make him promise to go over there with me tomorrow night to see Jean. Just as soon as I get back from Greenville.
Well, look, it sure was nice of you to come by, but we've been sitting half an hour talking, and I just don't get it. Guess I don't know enough about the church and things.
That's okay, Jean. After all, the main thing we want to say is this, that we want you to come and be a part, with us, of a wonderful Christian fellowship.
Well, what would I have to do?
Well, the first thing is to come Sunday, Jean. And you'll begin to find out what it's all about. We'll come by for you.
I don't know if this is it or not, but I've known for a long time that I wanted something I didn't have.
I guess we all felt that way one time or another, Jean.
That's the way God made us, Jean. So we can't ever be content until we found that something, which is God himself. Here, maybe you'd like to read this. I think it will answer some of the questions in your mind, and God will help you.
Couldn't we ask him now, Frank, to help?
Would that be all right with you, Jean, if we prayed?
Why, sure, I guess so.
Our Father, we know that you want all your children to find the best way of life, that abundant life that Christ came to bring. Help Jean to find it, and help Marty and me.
Oh, Frank, aren't you glad we went tonight? I just know it's the beginning of a new life for Jean.
I think so, too. But I thought you said you couldn't do it.
Couldn't do what?
Witness for Christ.
Why, Frank Burgess, do you mean that's what we've been doing?
Well, of course, what else?
Well, I never thought about it that way. I just knew that Jean needed friends and the church and Christ.
There are plenty of them like that, Marty. Here and all over America. 20 millions of them.
20 million?
That's right. We learned that in our briefing session down at the church. Of course, we have no way of knowing what their particular needs and problems are, but they've got them. You can bet your life they've got them, just like Jean
And Wilma.
and Slick and Alec. I'm going to put them on our visiting list.
Are you just about ready to start visiting, Frank? You three?
We sure are. Don and Janet are down at the church now, lining up the cards according to streets, looking up addresses, getting everything ready to go, you know. That's the reason I've got to go right on. I told them I'd join them as soon as I could.
Then I'm going with you. So we can let them know right away that there'll be 4 to go.
4 to go. And that number is being multiplied all over America today in churches of many denominations. It's a movement of tremendous significance. And as these Christian young people devote themselves to winning other young people to Christ and his church, there will be a dwindling of that 20 million who are outside of the church, and an ever-increasing number will find life at its best. Do you remember the little booklet that Frank and Marty left with Jean? 6 Steps to Real Life by E. Stanley Jones. Maybe you'd like to have a copy of this for yourself or to give to someone else. If so, I'd like to send you one. If you'll just take a card or a letter and address it to me, the pastor, in care of this station to which you're now listening. And on the other side of the card, write at the top, 4 to go. And then your name, your address, your city and state. Be sure to write plainly your name and your address and your city and state. And at the top, put 4 to go. And then address it to the pastor in care of the station to which you're listening. And I'll see that your copy of 6 Steps to Real Life is put in the mail immediately. You know, Jesus wasn't thinking only of youth, but he surely included them when he said, I am come that ye might have life and have it more abundantly.